Hello everyone and welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name's Emma. I'm an illustrator usually based in Sheffield and these are my daily-ish vlogs. But as you can tell, I'm not in Sheffield anymore. I'm actually on the Isle of Arran on a holiday in Scotland. And today I've got most of the day to myself because Andy's gone off climbing and, well, I didn't want to. I wanted to paint. So me and Rolly have got the day to ourselves. I'm going to start by drawing this lovely view because why go anywhere else when the view is this good to start with? Hopefully we're going to have a little wander down into Lamlash. We'll see if I can get Rolly in his harness and bagged up and all that kind of stuff. But come along with us for the adventure. But first I'm going to draw this view. I'm going to try and get a few quick sketches in. If you have followed me before, you'll know that I do a lot of quick sketching. I find it's a really good way to unlock a bit of liveliness. So I actually time my sketch. Well, I started off timing my sketches, but now I kind of just try and do them as quick as I can. If I find that I'm spending too long on a drawing and I'm noodling too much, I will actually set a physical timer. But mostly now I just draw as quick as I can without going back over things and trying to make things different shapes. But yeah, we'll see. I might actually get a timer out later on. We'll have a look. But first, I think watercolours are in order. So first, just a quick apology. I don't actually have my camera tripod with me today, so I can't get any really good angles for you. But to be honest, there's not a lot of space on this table, so I probably wouldn't be able to use it anyway. So I'll try and give you the best angles I possibly can while you're leaning against my coffee cup. But don't worry, I will show you everything that I've drawn, either once I've finished it or at the very end of the video. So this is the first layer that I've got. I've obviously got to let this dry before I work on top of it because some of the colours have started to like blend in. This is just a colour blocking layer. When I work with watercolours, I work with pencils on top because I'm trying to get a more illustrative effect. I'm trying to exercise my, I'm trying to exercise my like children's book illustration muscles. That's the kind of work I'm going for at the moment. It's the work that I enjoy making, so that's why. So when I very first start, I'll take some colour. I've only recently refound my watercolours, so I'm trying to incorporate those into my children's illustrations. So when I do use them, I'll colour block first, let it all dry, and then I'll go over in pencil to kind of add my usual pencil illustration loose style, but trying to bring it together as more of a finished picture. So that was yesterday's. So trying to keep it loose and keep it illustrative. Like that. But making it more of a finished kind of picture than this, which I enjoy this kind of style. I enjoy this loose scribbly style. I find that that's really me. But now I'm trying to experiment into ways of bringing colour and bringing a bit of life into those scribbly illustrations. I'm actually really pleased with how pared down my illustration and art materials is for this trip, because last year when I went to Lewis, the Isle of Lewis, I took, I'm not joking, 2, maybe even 3 canvas tote bags of materials. I was just at that point starting my year off. So if you've watched me before, you'll have heard me talk about my year off. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. I was still working, I was still making money, I wasn't like gallivanting anywhere. But basically what I mean by year off is I was taking a year off from making new products, because I own my own small business called Embers and Ink, and in that I sell like illustrated goods and cards and gifts illustrated by me. So there's always that pressure that when I'm illustrating, I could be making a product to sell in my shop. So in 2023, I took the year off that pressure and I just focused on illustrating and drawing and sketching from life and really practicing getting a volume of work. And that's when I started doing time sketching. Time sketching is a great way of getting a bulk of work done because you've got such a short timer. You've got maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes. And if it doesn't work out, the brilliant thing is it's fine because it only took 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes. It's like a psychological game to kind of get you used to seeing your own hand in your work and your own like messy scribble or however it kind of turns out, and getting used to seeing mess. And that has really been a key in my work, which is why I like the scribble. And I'm trying to keep in my work, my hand is, my own handwriting version of my drawing is a little bit scribbly. And I'm really embracing that now, which is why I'm trying to keep that in my finished pictures, which is why I've started to introduce watercolour in my sketches so that I can start working on more finished looking illustrations. Because before, when I was sketching monotone, I was sketching it with one colour and it produced beautiful things. I loved it. But as soon as I started to try and add colour into it or try and make something more finished from my sketches, all the life was sucked out of it. So I'm trying to kind of approach, rather than changing my sketchbook stuff into more finished illustrations, I'm trying to introduce more finished materials, more finished media into my sketchbooks, and hopefully they'll meet in the middle. That's what I'm hoping at the moment anyway. So yeah, last year when I went to Lewis, I took like 3 tote bags of stuff, and because I took all of my art materials, because I didn't want to miss out on stuff, like I was at the beginning of my year out, I didn't want to miss out on any opportunities. I didn't really know what I'd want and what I'd need. Because I ended up taking so much stuff, I ended up using nothing and got really overwhelmed and stressed out. Seagulls, so loud. I got really overwhelmed, really stressed out that I wasn't using all my materials, that I ended up not really using any. So I was very sensible this time, and let me show you what I brought with me. So I've got this little travel watercolour set. This one was actually gifted to me by my sister when she was having a little studio clear out. I used to have one that had exactly the same colour pans in it. In fact, I've still got it. The only thing is it's just slightly bigger. It's the same brand. It's just that mine that I bought came with like a little water reservoir. It's a little bit more bulky for travelling. And because I wasn't sure if I'd use this, I thought I'd bring the smaller one. And it's like the size of my hand. Not a lot of space in my bag. So I brought that, and I have actually used that a bit. Like I say, I'm trying to loosely colour block first and then pencil afterwards. What I'm using alongside my watercolour are these brush pens. The good thing about these is that it's water and a brush in one. So you see the water inside there. And it basically is a brush on the end, like a felt tip pen. You can either fill these with like liquid watercolour or ink, or just have them as water like I've done here. And it just saves you bringing a brush and a water jug out, and they've been really helpful. I'll pop a link to these in the video description. In fact, I'll pop a link to anything that I'm using here in my video description. For full transparency, it's an affiliate link for a shop called Jackson's. I wasn't approached by Jackson's. I was already using Jackson's and saw they had an affiliate link. I like them because it's, this isn't an ad, but the reason I was using them is because they've got a great range of stuff, but also they've made great strides in plastic-free packaging and stuff like that. I've actually taken on a few suggestions that I've emailed to them in the past. I don't know if that's because of my recommendations or they were doing it anyway, but they have made great strides with the plastic free. And I saw they were doing an affiliate link, and because I've got this YouTube channel, I thought I might as well sign up to that. And what it offers you is, if you've Never used Jackson's before, they'll give you 10% off your first order if you click through my links before you buy something. And all purchases after clicking through my link, whether you're a new customer or a returning one, will help me buy new art supplies. I think I get about 5% back on every order that I divert their way through one of my links. So no obligation, but I just wanted to be fully transparent with that. I've also got this little pencil sharpener, which I stupidly broke the other day. They used to be connected. This is a Faber-Castell one, and people have asked me in the past if, there you go, if it's good. Yeah, it's all right. It has its downsides. The upside is that it fits my pencils really well because I use Faber-Castell pencils. If you don't exclusively use Faber-Castell, or you use a lot of other brands as well, it doesn't fit them very well. You'd have to use the jumbo for any pencils like the Caran d'Ache Luminance and stuff, which means that you end up with a chubby nib, which is fine, it works. The thing that I found really annoying is that I've used this so much because I like a really sharp pencil, and I've said this before, I can get through a pencil in a day on a good sketching day. I use this a lot, and the blade has blunted, which I can't use the colour pencil sharpener anymore. I can't find a replacement for this insert, so now I'm having to use the graphite hole, which is fine, but I'll show you what it's like inside. Hang on, there you go. You might be able to see. Yeah, see, so this one here is the graphite hole, and all of the shavings get caught behind that bit of plastic there. And once that's all full, it actually puts pressure on the nib, on the lead, and when you're sharpening it, it breaks the lead, which is not great. So I do have qualms with it. When it was new and when it was working well, it was brilliant, but this no longer sharpens. I can't find a replacement for it, which is really annoying. And this has its limitations, so buyers beware. On a side note, if you use a pencil sharpener that you absolutely love and it hasn't let you down, and you can buy replacement blades easily, and it's not £1 million to buy replacement blades, let me know in the comments, because I'm after a really good pencil sharpener that doesn't put pressure on the lead when you sharpen it. Doesn't, because I always end up breaking my nibs. I like a really sharp point. But the only one that was really good for me that I found, I can't find a replacement for this. So let me know in the comments. I need your help. So some other things that I brought were sketchbooks. So I've got these guys. These are Jackson's own studio sketchbooks. So the cheapest ones that I've been able to find. It's a fairly smooth, like cartridge paper. There's a bit of grain on it, so it picks up pencils when you're shading and stuff. I go for cheapness, because if I go for an expensive sketchbook, I'll get too precious and I'll not use it. So this is the A5 one that I take out. I've also brought one A4 one, and I've brought this, which was, it's an Arts University Bournemouth one. I haven't been to the Arts University Bournemouth. Someone found it for me in a charity shop and it's never been used. So that's another A4 one. It's hardback. I haven't used that one yet. I find that I stick to these ones. I think it's a psychological trick that I get more work done when it's a really cheap sketchbook. But the links to these are in the video description as well. I really like them. Okay, material wise, so I've got a pencil roll. Whee! Mainly Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, but there are a couple of Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, some pastel pencils down there, white pastels, which are good for adding highlights. And then I've got a couple of these Ecoline watercolours and crayons and Tombows. Oh, and a white Posca, great for adding highlights as well. Then my usual little sturdy box of Caran d'Ache Neocolour 2s. These are great because these also act as paints. They're water-soluble crayons. These ones are crayons when they're dry, but you can use them also as watercolours. So you can see the end of that one. There's a little delve out of it. That's where I've used a water brush on it. So that side is for crayon, that side is for watercolour. So it's a good kind of two-in-one material, great for travelling. If you're looking for the water-soluble ones, look for the Neocolour 2s, the aquarelle ones, because the other ones, the Neocolour ones, are just normal wax crayons. I've also brought charcoals. One of these is charcoal sticks, one of them is charcoal pencils, but I haven't used these yet. So then I've got these two pencil cases which are additional to what I normally take out sketching. This pencil case is absolutely delicious and it's massive, and it was made by a woman on Skye. So the Isle of Skye Art Studio. Let's see if there's a web address for her. No. So Google the Isle of Skye Art Studio and you might be able to grab one of these yourself. It's made out of this old canvas that is left over from her painting, which is amazing. So in here I've got my water brushes. So I think, yeah, this one is basically a pencil case which replaces the big plastic envelope that I normally have everything just shoved in. So this is my water brushes, my pencil extenders. I do have a Sharpie in there which I haven't used, and some pencil sharpeners. One for my Stabilo Woodies, which are the big crayons, and one just a normal pencil sharpener just in case this Faber-Castell one gives up. But this is great because it fits my watercolour, and that will live in there as well. And it keeps it all together and nice, so I don't have to rummage around a massive plastic pencil case. And then this one, so this is a pencil case from a company called Tommy and Zach. Tommy and Zach, you can get these in the Sheffield Maker Shop. Really nice little pencil case. And this is just a bunch of stuff that I grabbed before I left, just in case. So a few replacement pencils, so a few double ups of colours that I've already got in there, like my very favourite Faber-Castell Polychromos Dark Indigo 157. I've got a couple of kind of half pencils of those because I know I'll go through them a lot. So I grabbed the kind of leftovers of those that I had. Stabilo Woody. And then just like a couple of pencils that I thought I might need. Some greens, some reds, some blacks, some blues. Nothing that special. And a fine line Posca. I don't know why. Haven't used any of these yet. And then a putty rubber, which if I were going to use the charcoals, I'd be using that. These putty rubbers are great for adding highlights when you're using charcoal because they're kneadable. You can get a really fine point on them and you can rub out the charcoal really well with them. So if you, for example, if I was doing a drawing of the sea, I could use this to go all the way along and get all of those highlights on the sea. So they're all the materials that I brought out with me. They're basically the same materials that I normally take out on a day sketching, but with a few extra pencils because I'm not near my studio. So just in case, anything just to replace it. But yeah, compared to last year's holiday, that is absolutely so pared down. And I think it's standing me in good stead. I like the drawings that I'm making now more than I did last year. So it's got to be good, hasn't it? Right, I'm going to finish this coffee and add some pencil on top of that because that should be dry now. So we're back in. It turns out that logistically, taking a cat out on your own with your art bag is actually quite tricky. So we're going to wait till Andy comes in. He should be finished climbing pretty soon. So we'll go out together hopefully. And if not, if Rolly's absolutely had enough of going on his harness, then Andy can stay in with him and I'll go out on my own. So let's just see where the day takes us. Nice and easy, loosey-goosey kind of day.